Hey fellow Force users, what is up? It's Jasmine, the AhsokaTanoFan. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, we are back to Star Wars now. My last video was obviously a Marvel video for the Black Panther. For those of you who haven't checked it out, feel free to do so as long as you've seen the movie because it is a spoiler review. But yeah, so last video was Marvel, now we're back to Star Wars with another episode of Andor. I'm wearing a black and white shirt today. I guess you could say it represents the dark side versus the light side. So last episode was a really good one. I could tell that you guys enjoyed it as well. I was looking at some of your comments. It definitely was very intense. We had been building up for some time now to this prison break and we finally saw it go down. They did a great job and they showed just what they could do and how much power they have over the Empire when they gather together in numbers. They kept chanting one way out, one way out. But of course we saw that when they actually got to the exit, poor Kino said he couldn't swim, which is kind of heartbreaking. So I hope that somehow he was able to find his way out, because at the very end we saw Andor and Melshi, they were running away, but we did not see Kino in that scene. So yeah, I hope somehow he found a way out. Maybe he could have jumped off and held on to something or somebody, because there were a lot of them. The other side of the episode revealed to us that Lonnie is also a secret rebel agent, so he's working kind of both sides, obviously trying to get close to Dedra and also reporting back to Luthen. And we saw that he has his own family, wife and daughter it sounds like, and he kind of wants out of the rebellion because it's becoming too much for him. And Luthen basically very nicely said, you're not going anywhere. And so poor Lonnie's kind of trapped in the middle here. He has to keep working for the Empire and not allow them to suspect anything, and also he can't stop working for Luthen either. So it definitely revealed to us a darker side to the rebellion. Anyways guys, I'm looking forward to this episode. I guess we got to see the aftermath of this prison break. I assume that they'll be looking for Cassian now. I'm guessing maybe he'll go back to Ferrix. Maybe we'll see Marva again. We got to find out what happened to Bix as well. Did they let her go, or is she still being held? And finally, I'm starting to wonder, are we gonna see what happened to Cassian's sister? Because early on in the series, he was looking for his sister, and of course we saw her in the flashbacks. So I wonder if or when we're gonna see her come into the story, and you know, if she does come in, what role is she gonna have to play? Anyways guys, without further ado, let's blast our way into the episode and check out what's in store for us. I never really talk about it, but the intro is really kind of cool. It's like darkness, and then all of a sudden or gradually Andor emerges out of the darkness, you know, almost kind of symbolic of the rebellion. Oh, look at their feet.
They're leaving. Stop saying that.
Damn. They got on that quickly, the Empire.
Tell me they're leaving. They're leaving. They're leaving.
How's that even gonna work? How are they gonna get out of there?
We'll save it for Cassia. Okay. She would have wanted it that way. It's heartbreaking.
Wait, did Marva die or something? Why are they talking like that? It's what she would have wanted.
We're gonna take her out in a minute if you want to say goodbye.
Does she die?
Jesse's gonna be here till I get back.
I can go with you.
Oh.
The daughters of Ferrix require your assistance in matters of grave importance.
Daughters of Ferrix. Are they involved in burial or something? Or cremation? Because I think it was the last episode or the one before that. I do recall them saying something about how she won't take her meds or something like that. I guess Marva wasn't doing well. Oh, that's her there. There's Cinta there. Damn. So did Marva die or was she killed then?
Someone died.
What happens? Just started last week.
Wait, that guy, was he from the Empire? The subtitle said Corv. Name sounds familiar.
It's a quad jumper. Can you fly it?
What if there's someone else in there? We get out here. I know I feel it.
Oh no. What if it's a trap?
It's a trap.
Uh-oh, what's that? Ah, no. It looks like a spider web almost.
As a prominent citizen of Ferrix, she wrote a big send-off. They'll ask for a permit. They know we won't allow it, but they like to keep asking.
We want a funeral.
Excuse me.
Oh, she wants to draw Andor back there.
Want to put them in a box, stand back and watch.
The dead are bricked. You become a block of Ferrix brick. they find your wall.
Is that the same guy from the first scene? No, right? It kind of looks like him though. Corv.
We meant you. No harm. We kill nothing. Nothing.
Prison done it. Spoil our water.
How are they gonna get out of this one, man?
Water spoil here and far. All your scum in prison.
That's the Empire. We were trapped.
Stop the Empire. They not be killing ye. Nay today.
Let him go.
Where ye be looking to run now, eh?
Niamos?
Oh, Niamos.
So are they gonna let them take it, or are they gonna take them to where they're going? They're probably taking them, I think. Oh, it's Vel. So are they still trying to take out Cassian, or? I like that shot, how they showed her in the armor. Like they were kind of both facing the same way.
Are we alone? You'd like to get something for her?
That means they're not alone, or she's checking to make sure.
Tomorrow is too late. Where is he? I gave him Aldani. What have you done lately?
Oh, she's challenging her.
I don't have lately. I have always. Constant blur of plates spinning, knives on the floor, panicked faces at the window, of which you are but one of many.
I don't have lately, I have always. Interesting.
Cassian Andor, the mother died.
Poor Marva, man.
Well, let him know. Do that.
Cassian's gonna be devastated when he finds out, because he never got to really say a proper goodbye to her, you know? I really wonder if she died of natural causes, or like an illness or something, or if she was murdered by this guy. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he's a spy.
Spotters front and back. I want to know immediately about any comings and
Yeah,
goings.
he's a spy. The question is he a double agent kind of like Lonnie, or is he just straight up working for the Empire? I think he's just straight up working for the Empire.
Hey, time to go. She's not here, B. She's in the stone now.
It's so sad.
I can't leave you here alone. One night.
Agonized.
Oh, is that Bix? Yeah, it looks like it's her.
Care to join me?
Damn, she can't even walk properly. Someone's gotta rescue her, man. Because in her state, I don't think she can even escape herself, you know?
Anto Krieger.
Well, she doesn't even look the same. They might have messed her up so bad that now she can't even talk to them properly if she wanted to, man.
It's Lida. It's the only thing she shows up on time for. Don't tell me you're taking proposals. I'm in so much trouble that.
Oh, damn. So she is considering Devil's offer. An introduction to her daughter.
Family trust without a trace. So easy. Set up a stream of accounts. It's like water running downhill. I was warned that Imperial inspectors might be taking a close look. There was one empty ledger that was off balance. I went to Luthen. I told him that I needed help.
Hey, Colma. And you trust him?
Yes, but then Aldani.
So Aldani messed her up.
How much is missing?
400,000.
And they're looking into this when?
Soon. Very soon.
Who is that?
Auntie Val.
All the kids. She's gonna marry her daughter off. Oh, man. Poor mom, that's tough. And she told him, I'm not thinking about it. He said, that's the first untrue thing you've said. Looks like he was right, because she's definitely thinking about it and considering his offer.
Yes.
That's his former coworker, right? Where is he?
I'm calling about Andor.
Yes, please, go on.
He phoned me this afternoon and he told me that
It's been it out already.
the mother!
You were talking about Andor.
She's passed away!
Where is Andor?
That he might show up at the funeral!
When?
I knew you'd want to...
Oh, damn.
The mystery of your former triumphs have been vanquished. I can sleep peacefully now.
He's like obsessed with Cassian, man. He has not been able to stop thinking about him. Oh, this is where Cassian was picked up and arrested, right?
Tyranny required.
Did you say tyranny required? What's he doing with that?
I'm in!
Oh, I sing Saw Gerrera again.
Tell Krieger I'm in!
You're too late. He's going tomorrow. We'll be ready.
I think not.
What's he saying here?
ISB knows Krieger's plan. They'll be waiting for him.
And how do we know this?
I won't tell you that.
Oh, okay, because that's what he got from Lonnie.
30 men.
Plus Krieger.
Which means either you're ISB or you have someone inside that you are protecting.
Or I'm just a very good listener.
And what if it was me instead of Krieger? What would you do?
Krieger doesn't know me. I'm not vulnerable if he's captured. Do we let Krieger go down and play the long game? Or do we warn him? Throw away his source it's taken years to cultivate.
Oh man, it's so messed up.
You have people everywhere. Maybe there's someone here with me.
It's Tubes.
Yeah, he's lying. Huh. Luthen's gotta be careful because we know Saw Gerrera doesn't die here. But we don't see Luthen in Rogue One, so
Wave him off.
Luthen could die.
They'll trust nothing.
For the greater good.
That's kinda cold, man. I don't know.
Let's call it war.
Where's he sneaking around to? Is he avoiding his mom? He's taking credits? Or keys?
I'm most curious about the other piece.
It's very much on the table.
We need that piece. We lose that and we'll have to close shop.
She's talking about Val?
Luthen?
Uh-oh. Is it the Empire jamming communications? He might be in trouble here.
This is an Imperial patrol.
This is Alderaan 129-12505.
Damn.
This is a piracy zone.
Oh, thank you for the warning. I'll be careful.
You'll be standing by. Power the tractor beam.
Oh my gosh, the tractor beam? That means you won't be able to move, right? Yeah, I remember those in the Clone Wars. It just pulls you right into the ship.
Please power down your stabilizers.
Calibrate tractor force.
Alderaan Trade Alliance.
Cancel the boarding?
No. We can use the practice.
Damn. He's gonna try and run. Oh! Is it gonna work though?
Power down immediately or risk full consequences.
Come on, Luthen.
What is that?
Oh! Did he just destroy their tractor beam? Whoa! He needs to get out of there ASAP. Look at him go. He's quite the pilot, eh? What was that? That looked like lightsaber beams almost. Whoa, that was cool. Damn. So now this guy's not going to be able to stop thinking about Luthen, just like Syril can't stop thinking about Cassian. Oh no, he doesn't know.
She'd be proud of me, and I'll get back as soon as I can. Can you remember that?
Is he gonna tell him?
No names. Just let her know what I said.
Wait.
He's gonna tell her.
Cass, I'm sorry.
Stop saying names. Did he not tell you not to say names?
Your mother's dead.
Oh, damn. He doesn't even know what to think.
You got through? It's okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not gonna tell him.
All this space, fresh air, like a dream, right? How many do you think made it? Not enough. What if we're the only ones? Somebody's got to tell people what's happening back there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of us has to make it.
Oh. But we know that they see each other again in Rogue One. Damn, poor Cassian. Oh, he's got to be feeling so sick right now. Alright guys, so another solid episode. I would say it was a little bit slower compared to the last one, but I guess that's sort of understandable because obviously the prison break is something that the episodes were building up to. So it's understandable that episode would contain more action compared to this one, but this one was still a solid episode. By the end there, you saw Andor and Melshi part ways essentially. It was Melshi's idea to do so, saying that somebody has to tell other people what's really going on behind the scenes. He was questioning how many of them actually made it out alive. And it just comes back to this whole idea, I guess, of for the greater good. Melshi probably knew that together they'd be stronger, but it was more important to him that they part ways and increase the chances of that important message getting out rather than them sticking together. So I feel like that scene was powerful, but of course we know that that won't be the last time they see each other because they do see each other again in Rogue One. During that scene, Melshi was talking about how it was like a dream because they finally get to breathe fresh air and look at the sun or something like that. It was kind of a sad scene because on one hand, they're both free, which no doubt has to be like the highest moment of their lives because they spent so much time in captivity as prisoners. But at the same time, while they're free and at the highest moment in their lives in a long time, Cassian's also at his lowest because he just received the news that his mother, Marva, passed away. And it looks like Cassian decided not to share that with him, the fact that he had just received news of his mother's passing, because he had basically just said that everything's okay when asked about how the call went, which maybe perhaps shows us that Cassian keeps a lot of things to himself, maybe holds a lot of secrets, and in cases like this, maybe he chooses to grieve on his own versus sharing it with other people. We know that there's going to be a funeral planned for Marva, and quite a few people know about this funeral. Cinta and Corv obviously know because they're both spies essentially on Ferrix. We know Dedra knows, Syril knows, Vel, and Kleya. For Dedra, her scene was interesting because it was revealed that the Empire usually doesn't grant them such requests when it comes to funerals, but it looks like Dedra wants them to in this case because it's more important to her that they have a way of luring Cassian and potentially others to this funeral, and so that would be a prime opportunity to catch them or kill them, and so that's kind of more important to her versus repeating the same past choices of the Empire and not allowing them to have funerals. So it just kind of shows again how strategic Dedra thinks. You kind of wonder what Vel and Kleya's plans are because when they spoke a little while back, they mentioned the idea of killing Cassian. So are they going to use this as an opportunity to take him out? But then you have Syril. It looks like he was contacted by one of his former Primor colleagues who made him aware of the funeral. And it looked like by the end there, he grabbed something from the safe. I couldn't tell if it was credits or maybe keys to a ship or something like that, but it looks like he was kind of hiding it from his mom, whatever it was. And so he probably is going to make his way to the funeral as well. So is he going to try and kill Cassian? Definitely seems like the finale next week. It's being set up for one big showdown at this funeral, and who knows how many people are going to be after Cassian here. We saw that poor Bix is still being interrogated and she doesn't even look the same anymore. You can tell that they've definitely done a number on her. And so you kind of have to wonder, what is she revealing to them, if anything, that could also put an even bigger target on Cassian's back. So there's definitely a lot of people that have their sights set on Cassian. I mentioned Cinta and Corv just a moment ago. What's interesting about them is that they're both spies on Ferrix. They're both pretending to be someone that they're not, and they're both on opposite ends, one on the Empire, one on the Rebellion. In this show, and even in the Rebellion in general and the Empire, you never know who's really who. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this series, is you can't really trust anybody. Even that scene between Luthen and Saw Gerrera, Saw starts questioning him, oh, you have somebody on the inside, don't you? And Luthen just kind of points to the random guy, it's that guy, and obviously it's not that guy, but I guess it just goes to show us that it could be anybody. You know, you never know what role or how many roles people are playing. Everything is a big mystery and a big secret when it comes to the Empire and the Rebellion. The tricky part is knowing where someone's true loyalties lie. If you're working for the Empire and your colleague is as well, you don't really know. Are they just working for the Empire? Are they working for the Rebels? If they're working for the Rebels, is their main allegiance to the Rebels and they're playing the Empire, or is it the reverse? Is it something in between? It's basically a lot of confusion and mystery and secrecy. You don't really know who to trust. During the scene with Mon Mothma, her daughter looks like she's part of some sort of like group. I don't know, some sort of group she's part of. It looked like maybe a religious group of some kind. They were chanting these words. They said something about trust, braided in trust and acceptance. And I just find it interesting that they're saying that, and there's kind of a heavy emphasis on trust in this episode. You don't know who to trust. And then you have Mon Mothma's daughter, she's chanting those words about trust. And then during Vel and her conversation, they mentioned the man, I think his name was Tay or Tai. She said, do you trust him? And Mon Mothma said, I do. And speaking of Mon Mothma, she did delve more into her money troubles here to Vel. And so that obviously affects her. And by association will affect Luthen if she's not able to get the money to him. And so now it looks like she's considering Davos' offer, which was an introduction between his son and her daughter. And in the last episode, she said that she's not thinking about it, to which Davos replied, "That's the first untrue thing you've said." And so now we know that he was right about that. And it just goes to show how desperate she's become. And I think I mentioned it was in the last video that Vel had said previously, everyone has their own rebellion. And so what that also means is that everybody has their own sacrifice. And so we're seeing kind of what Mon Mothma's sacrifice is going to be. She talks about how before moving the money wasn't an issue for her, and the way that she did it, it was like water flowing downhill. She said something like that. I find the talk about water kind of interesting, because even the last episode, what happened when Cassian and the others forced the Imperial officers to cut off the power. They had to shut off the power supply, which was being powered by the water. So the flow of water stopped, and that's how they were able to escape. And they also escaped in water. And then now here's Mon Mothma talking about her finances previously being like flowing water, and then now it's going to stop. In both cases, there's something being shut down. I guess perhaps it shows us that when it comes to the Empire and the Rebellion, it's not just going to be a win-win-win situation from one side over the other. Every time there's a win on one side, something is taken from the other side. On one hand, the water generated power to the prison was shut down. That's a success against the Empire. But on the other hand, Mon Mothma's money flow is being shut down, so that's a loss on the Rebellion side. Mon Mothma is constantly having to watch her back because she never knows when the Empire is going to catch her and close in on her, and it looks like they are closing in on her. Mon Mothma's struggles almost echo Luthen's assistant, because we saw that she and Vel had another conversation, and Vel said, "I've given him Aldhani, what have you done lately?" And Kleya replies, "I don't have a lately, I have always," or something to that effect. And I found that very interesting, because sometimes with the Rebellion, it's not just a one and done situation. Sometimes it's a constant struggle, and I guess that's what Kleya was getting at with Vel. Her situation is constant, just as Mon Mothma's situation is constant, just as Luthen's situation is constant. That line I found echoed Luthen's line in the last episode when he was asked by Lonnie, what has he sacrificed? So we saw that Luthen met with Saw Gerrera this episode and basically let him know that if we go to help Krieger, it's gonna tip the Empire off and they're not gonna trust anything. This whole idea was sacrificing for the greater good. On one hand, it kind of makes sense because Luthen said they're playing the long game. But on the other hand, it's so disturbing. It makes you question, how are they gonna convince themselves they're fighting for good when they're knowingly allowing people to be sacrificed or sacrificing people? And it kind of reminded me of when Fulcrum, or Ahsoka, in Rebels was telling Hera that she has to call off her attempt at rescuing Kanan for the sake of the team's safety and for the greater good, essentially. It's a very weighted subject, a very dark subject, but it is one that we've seen echoed time and time again. This idea of sometimes you have to make sacrifices, I guess, for the greater good of the rebellion. Just as we've been saying, everyone has their own rebellion, and that means everybody also has their own sacrifice. And I guess it's just a question of when your sacrifice is going to come, or what that sacrifice is going to be, what form it's going to take. We know in Cassian's case, his sacrifice happens in Rogue One. In their minds, Krieger's sacrifice is going to come now so that Imperial contacts are not burned for the long run. I kind of mentioned this briefly, but you notice that Saw was asking Luthen, who's your inside contact? And Luthen was being very secretive, and then he points to the random guy that's there. Obviously he's lying, but the point is that it could be anybody. Anybody could be anyone when you're fighting this war. And that's what makes it such a complex war. It's not as black and white as my shirt. There's a lot of gray in between. And Luthen's priority seems to be allowing the Empire to let their guard down. Just like what he said, if they allow Kruger and his men to be sacrificed, then the Empire will think that they're untouchable, and that'll be the best time to strike them. Kind of like what happened in the prison. They had the illusion of power because they had all these weapons and they had the guards. That power was just that. It was an illusion. And now you see what happens when that illusion breaks and people band together in numbers. They end up overwhelming the Empire. And the Empire, I think, knows that deep down. That's why they're probably actually afraid, even though they don't show it. Their fear is reflected in their strength and weaponry. So Luthen is right in that sense. If you can get them to let their guard down by sacrificing people like Krieger and his men, in the long run, you have the advantage over them. You have the high ground. Sorry. Bad timing for that joke. Luthen seems to leave the decision ultimately up to Saw, which I kind of wonder is his way of releasing himself from the guilt associated with that decision. And then you see Saw say for the greater good, to which Luthen replies, you call it what you will. And then Saw says, let's call it war. Can you really use the word good when you're letting good men essentially die in the ultimate sacrifice? And it's not like they're choosing to make that sacrifice. It's your decision to basically condemn them to death or capture or whatever. So can you really call that good? I don't think that perhaps you can, which is why I think that Saw's name for it, war, is more accurate. In times of war, you do things you wouldn't normally do that can't necessarily be considered good. Makes you question everything, even in real life, everything that we have, everything that's been fought for. How many sacrifices, both voluntary and involuntary, were made for us to get to this point to where we have what we have in our society. The show definitely makes you look at things differently, not just in Star Wars, but also in real life society as well. I do question too, when it comes down to it, would Luthen be prepared to be sacrificed in that way? I know that he talked last episode about what he sacrifices, but would he actually be prepared to die for it? This scene definitely kind of made me wonder that. He even talked about how Krieger doesn't even know him, so it's okay if he's sacrificed compared to, let's say, Saw. Is he thinking to a certain degree about himself? I know that he does sacrifice a lot, but is it possible that in a conflict like this, at some point, maybe you lose sight of what you're fighting for, and maybe it becomes less about the greater good, but a little bit more about what is going to be a benefit to you in this moment and for the long run. Therefore, that might guide his decisions in terms of who he aligns with, who he keeps as a contact, and who he decides is expendable and okay to burn. At the end, we saw Luthen almost get caught though in the tractor beam, which just again reminds us that the Empire is always there, always kind of lurking in the shadows. You kind of get the sense that they're closing in, and we saw that visually in that scene. You see the character Alec. I don't know if we had actually seen him before in the series. Is it possible that he might look at Luthen as the one that got away, just like Syril looks at Cassian that way? I don't think it's the last time that we've seen that character. But anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode down below in the comments, as always, and also what you're looking forward to in next week's episode. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you for the next episode of Andor, which will also be the season 1 finale. Until next time, guys, take care and see you soon.